But I'm thrilled to be back in this beautiful Commonwealth at the legendary Mon Valley Works Irving plant, with the proud Pennsylvania Patriots who are the heart and soul of U.S. Steel.
President Donald Trump celebrating what he calls a partnership between Pittsburgh-based U.S. Steel and Nippon Steel right now at the Irving plant in West Mifflin. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Kim Gable.
I'm Ken Rice. Today's rally comes 1 week after Trump announced his approval of the deal. He said this will keep U.S. Steel headquartered in Pittsburgh. U.S. Senator Dave McCormick said this week the arrangement will guarantee an American CEO and a majority of U.S. board members, along with U.S. government approval over certain corporate functions.
And you're going to be blessed. You're going to see that. It will keep its headquarters in the great city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where it belongs. For generations, the name United States Steel was synonymous with greatness, and now it will again be synonymous with greatness. That's what it's going to be. The best and strongest steel on earth will forever be made in America and made in Pennsylvania.
You may recall that as a candidate and as president-elect, Trump said he opposed foreign ownership of U.S. Steel, as did former President Biden.
KDKA's Ricky Sayer is in West Mifflin with the president now as workers, investors, and others are looking for some clarity about what this partnership is. Ricky.
President Trump is on stage right now. He says a lot of money is coming this way, and he has received a very warm welcome from steelworkers, community leaders, and other community members who are in this room. But what we haven't heard yet from the president is details about what he calls a partnership. He's been speaking now for about 20 minutes. He was actually joined on stage by Mason Rudolph and Steelers legend Rocky Bleier. He could reveal those details later, but for now I'll tell you what State Senator Kim Ward told me earlier today. As she understands it, there will be an American board of directors. The U.S. government will have a say on who is in those seats. Dave McCormick said on CNBC that will help to maintain production levels. This deal matters to steelworkers. A local union leader told me they want assurances their jobs will still be here in a decade. This deal has been opposed by United Steelworkers International leadership. They say that Nippon has a history of violating U.S. trade laws. Most rank-and-file steelworkers we've spoken with are for this deal. They believe it will ensure they have jobs for years to come. To remind everyone on the stakes here, U.S. Steel has said without a deal, they would likely have to move away from the way steel is made in the Mon Valley, putting many jobs at risk, and their headquarters could have to move from Pittsburgh. Earlier, we heard from Takehiro Mori. He's the executive vice president of Nippon. He's been at the heart of the negotiations for this deal. He said we would not be here without President Trump. He thanked those who are here for placing trust in them and said they would do their best to honor that trust.
Now we will start to make the massive investments that will transform U.S. Steel on the world stage. These include the capital investment here in Pennsylvania to protect and revitalize this very important steel mill.
And I'll also tell you that steelworkers who have spoken with Mori have told me that they found him to be very honorable, that they had a lot of trust in him. As for Trump, who is speaking right now, we're told he could speak for about 90 minutes, and then there could be some other speakers that follow him. So we will continue to follow what he says and report back to you any details we hear. Reporting live in West Mifflin, Ricky Sayer, KDKA-TV News.
I'm thrilled to be back in this beautiful Commonwealth at the legendary Mon Valley Works Irving plant, with the proud Pennsylvania Patriots who are the heart and soul of U.S. Steel. Thank you very much. That's great. Oh, you're going to be happy. You're going to be happy. There's a lot of money coming your way.
President Trump is headed back to Washington after rallying U.S. steel workers at the Irving plant in West Mifflin today. Thank you for joining us tonight at 7:30. I'm Megan Schiller. The president announced 25% tariffs on all imported steel would double to 50%. And he also shared some details on U.S. Steel's new partnership with Nippon Steel. KDKA's Ricky Sayer shares what we learned.
Trump wrapped up speaking around 6:40 this evening. He mentioned a number of commitments between Nippon and U.S. Steel that are within this partnership. At the top of those commitments is no layoffs, no outsourcing. A reminder, U.S. Steel had effectively threatened that without a deal, jobs would leave the Mon Valley. They said they'd largely pivot away from blast furnaces. That's what we have in the Mon Valley. Trump says not only are the blast furnaces here to stay, he says they will be maintained at full capacity for 10 years. You'll recall earlier we shared a local union leader said they wanted a 10-year commitment. Trump says there would be a $2.2 billion investment to increase production in the Mon Valley. The bulk of investment, Trump says, will be in the next 14 months. Now, that could be a tall task considering all the steps it takes to construct new facilities. Trump says steelworkers will receive a $5,000 bonus. Trump also says U.S. Steel will be controlled by the USA. We did not get specifics on how the board would work. Remember, Trump has said he wants Nippon to invest in U.S. Steel. Nippon has been pushing for a full purchase of U.S. Steel, so we'll have to wait on those details. Here's more of what Trump said this evening.
If you don't have steel, you don't have a country. You don't have a country. You can't make a military. What are we going to do? Say, let's go to China to get our steel for the army tanks and for the boats and ships. A strong steel industry is not just a matter of dignity or prosperity and pride. It's above all a matter of national security.
I'll tell you, a lot of these things are things that steelworkers have been looking for. We'll share more of their reaction later on. Reporting in West Mifflin, Ricky Sayer, KDKA-TV News.